Alright troops, in this video I'm just going to talk about the consequences that's happened to me personally from not just Melanotan 2 usage but also sunbeds, like using sunbeds for years. So I'll start with just talking about my sunbed usage. So I started going for sunbeds around the age of 17, 18, and I would normally go for 7 to 8 minutes once a week. I would go every Saturday. I didn't really build up that good a tan. I had a kind of a small glow about me, you could say, a summer glow. Wasn't really that fussed about having a really nice dark colour. Really that was it until I got a wee bit older. Then I started, when I started going out more at weekends, I'd go twice a week. I'd normally go Monday and I'd go again Thursday night, so my tan would develop a wee bit for the night I was actually going out. My Melanotan 2 usage, I didn't take that until I was 20, was my first time I used it, and I completely overkilled it. I'd done a stupid amount of it, basically. I had no idea what I was doing really. Didn't dilute it enough, so I was doing a few milligrams per injection, which is just far too much, and which I believe caused what's happened to me from abusing it, basically. The first time I used it, basically I done 2 bottles within the space of like 2 weeks, which is just ridiculous. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. So it was like 20 milligrams of Melanotan in 2 weeks. So it worked, don't get me wrong, and at the time I wasn't seeing myself getting darker. I just felt as if I was getting a wee bit of a tan, but then people were constantly saying to me, were you just back from a holiday? Were you in Nigeria? Were you in Barbados? And I was getting all sorts of questions, but people are saying I've got a nice colour and stuff as well, but others said I look too dark and I look stupid, and obviously staying in Scotland, we don't always get sunshine, so I did look kind of out of place. Then fast forward to 3 months after I started using it, I noticed that I developed a few moles, and some of my freckles I had previously had started to get darker and bigger, and I thought nothing of it. And then a few more, another month or two passed, say, and one of them was starting to get really dark, like the black on this tracksuit. I was like, right, fair enough, I'll go to my GP, I'll get it checked. So booked an appointment for the doctors, and went in to see him, and as soon as I showed him my moles, he said straight away, he's like, I'm going to need to refer you to the dermatologist. These look as if there's a high probability that you're going to have skin cancer or melanoma. So he did. I was put on the urgent list, and I think within a week I was called up to the dermatology unit, or part of the hospital. So what they first done is they took me in to have a look. He had this magnifying glass, looked at them, looked at the edges and stuff, and basically explained to me that they're going to need to be photographed and then removed, sent off to be tested once they've been removed, to check for if there was any cancer tumours or skin cancer present in them. So I went in, I think I had 3 cut out at first, they were sent off, and then I came back 10 days later and I had another 3 removed, and they were sent off, and then I came back 2 weeks later and I had another 3, I think it was, removed. And by the time the 3rd lot were removed, the tests for the first ones came back, and I got a phone call just requesting from the guy who took the first look, who told me I'd need them removed, called me up. So I went up to the hospital and basically just sat me down and said that I had malistic melanoma, which is a form of skin cancer. It's quite a severe one. It was just that I had it at the early stages, which was quite lucky at the end of the day. And I started laughing when he told me, I remember it. And he kind of looked at me as if, are you being serious? He's like, this is like very serious. He's like, you've got a serious cancer. He's like, it could develop and get worse. And he asked me if I was using the tanning injections. Obviously it's a frequent thing for people that abuse it. And I explained to him I was using it and I'd stopped, just due to the fear of finding out, or in case I did have cancer, because when I stopped taking it I wasn't sure, it was off being tested. And then I went home, phoned my mum and dad. My dad, pardon me, my dad he was shocked, but he didn't really say much. I think he's not really an emotional guy. My mum was upset, she started crying, thinking the worst. So basically it ended up, the test came back for, it's only 3 or 4 out of all the ones I had removed actually came back with cancer present in them. And I had to go back in for a wide incision, which is basically they just say there was a small area of cancer, or they thought it could be a small area of cancer, so what they do is they open up my scar and cut round it in sort of a oval shape, an eye shape, and cut a wider section out just to remove all of this cancerous part of it. So they done that, they sent those off, and I think I waited 3 weeks on the results coming back from those, and they came back all clear. And they confirmed that they'd successfully managed to remove all the cancerous parts from the moles that were away and tested. So I'm all clear now, as far as I'm aware. And they gave me this wee pamphlet, and this video is not to scare anyone off using it. Obviously, if people are going to use it, I'd rather use it safely, but also know what could possibly happen to you. It's not put me off using sunbeds. Obviously I'm a wee bit more cautious now, but I still use them. Not as often as I did right enough. Maybe I've been twice in the past 2 or 3 months basically. So basically the wee leaflet they gave me is for people that are cautious or worried that they might have it. So basically I've got it here noted on my phone. I'll just read over the things they look for with your moles. So asymmetrical, so basically if you had to cut a mirror in the middle of your mole, and if one side's different from the other, that's a sign that it could possibly be, or if it's an irregular shape. The border, basically it's an acronym, it's A, B, C, D, E. It's not really an acronym, but you know what I mean. So border, if the outer side of the mole, if it's rugged or rigid even, or if it's just it's not that smooth kind of shape a normal freckle would be, that's a telltale sign it could be. The colours of it, so if the colour's not consistent, so say like mine's were kind of really dark in the middle, and then as it went out it was different shades of brown, that's also a sign of it. The actual size of it says here if it's larger than 6mm. I don't know if you want to measure it. If it's larger than 6mm, basically it's could be possibly cancerous. And the last one's the most obvious ones, I believe, to be able to tell, is if what I noticed, if my moles, or if your moles enlarge, or if they're risen. So if you go like that and kind of rub over them, and if you can feel it a wee bit, there's a chance it'd be best off getting it checked with your doctors. Or if the actual size of it increases, and using Melanotan will increase the size of freckles you already do. It's just a given, there's not really much avoiding it, but it's definitely something you want to keep your eyes peeled for. That's really it for this video. It's more just an eye opener really, something you should take on board and think about before or while using Melanotan. Obviously safety and health is priority. And that's it for this video trip. So if you've learned it, hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.